Test 1 2 1 2. Good morning and welcome to number 2 Sports Ground here in Newcastle. We are here today for the New South Wales Country Junior Rugby Union for 2019 City versus Country. I'm pleased to be joined with here Gary, who is a coach of the New South Wales Junior Country, and also Paddy as well, who's taken their time to join us this morning. Welcome, boys.
Thanks. Morning, Josh.
Well, boys, just a bit of, we'll go through the team sheets. We've got 4 games here today. We've got the under 14 boys, 15 girls, 15 boys, under 17 girls and under 16 boys. If you can, Gary, can you go through the first team? I'll get you, Paddy, to go through the New South Wales Country Juniors. Paddy?
Yeah, thanks, Brad. At loose head prop, we have Liam Burns. At hooker, we have Zach Stevenson. At tight head prop, James Falamatui. Number 4, Will Taylor. Number 5, Reeve McLean. Number 6, Ethan Jenkins. Number 7, Fergus Gillen. Number 8, Joshua Briggs. Number 9, Paddy O'Hara. Number 10, Heath Pritchard. Number 11, Ben White. 12, Ed Montgomery. 13, Isaac Barker. 14, Will Cuthill. 5, Ryan Witherden. 16, Lachlan Dietrich. 17, Luke Evans. 18, Jack Chris. Number 19, Noah Bryan. Number 20, Henry Miller. Number 21, Seth Toe. Number 22, Don Watkins. And number 23, Dean Jones. Coached by Scott Dalla-Balzac and Sam Ingham, and manager Kim Knight.
Thanks, Paddy. I'll get Gary to go through the Sydney Juniors team, Gary.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. At number 1, we've got Junior Latu. 2, Bailey Park. 3, Paul Voakakala. 4, Harry Darling. 5, Jacob John. 6, Sione Hoppo. 7, Mitchell Hyslop. 8, Genesis Fekiota. 9, Kobe Owen. 10, Caleb Murphy. 11, Liam Glover. 12, Joey Fowler. 13, Tyrese Lakini. 14, Tom Clem. 15, Hadley Tonga. 16, Jonathan Webb. 17, Nathaniel Titi. 18, William Goddard. 19, Kobe Herford. 20, Austin Durbridge. 21, Nicholas Lemming. 22, Lachlan Clayton. 23, Calvin Lupelli Levy. Coached by Mark Bernays, assistant coach John Hillary, and the manager's Melissa Hillary. Here come the 2 Blues and Country now.
Yes, boys, we've got on the left side here, we've got the New South Wales Country Juniors, and in the blue team we have the Sydney Juniors. This is the under 14 boys, shortly to kick off here at number 2 Sports Ground.
Sydney Junior is really well represented by the 2 Blues down in his shoot competition. There's a number of players that come from out west there, and I'm excited to see what they can do.
Well, we're not far from kick-off here, boys. Who's your pick for the game?
I think under 14's Country boys. They've been coached by Scott Dalla-Balzac for a long time, and they've come a long way in this program, so it should be a pretty interesting match. It's always, last year in Tamworth, City got away with it, so I'm sure Country will be looking to get one up on them.
Well, the ref's just about to blow time on, and here we go for the first game of the Country Junior City vs Country clash.
Or Gary, I thought almost a bit of a counter ruck there. The Country's got the ball back.
Yeah, I think they're the Sydney boys are looking a little bit strong around the ruck here over the ball. I think Country are going to have to lift in that part of the game as the game progresses. Well, first knock on there by Country. You see a first scrum of the game.
And Gary, as a member of the Front Row Club, this is your bread and butter, isn't it, mate? First scrum of the match.
This is where
What's going through your head when you were playing? First scrum.
First scrum's always it's always a little bit of a contest for ascendancy, I suppose. You always want to put them off their first hit as we come in. Good engagement, good scrum from both ends. Sydney just looked a little too strong on that occasion. Yeah, the body height around the ruck for the country boys really is really letting them down at the moment. Sydney seem to be getting underneath them and forcing errors.
There's another knock on, so it looks like we're going to have another scrum here.
There's country scrum, this one.
Some tall timber there from the local boy, number 4, Will Taylor.
So what there's for under 14 boys, there's some pretty tall kids in this this game here this morning. Number 8 for the Sydney Juniors.
Oh,
Both teams struggling with the pill a little bit at the moment. A couple of knock-ons.
I forgot to get that pace stuff from Bunnies this morning, I think.
I think the first game of the tournament, a few nerves.
Yeah, absolutely.
The jitters out there.
Just a reminder, we've got these games are 30-minute halves. So I'm not sure if you can see on the stream, but we've got the scoreboard straight over in line with the scrum right now.
You can do some outstanding scrum analysis, though, Paddy. Another strong scrum by Sydney Juniors.
Number 15 hitting the line at pace there from City.
Hadley
Into
Tonga
22, he lost his feet. Oh, he stayed into touch.
That's hardly Tonga.
I'm not sure what's happened there. The ref may have called that held up.
Yeah, back for a 5-minute
Just
scrum
got
there,
it.
Paddy. Back for a 5-minute scrum. Sydney certainly on a roll at the moment.
Yeah, and they've got their self lined up here pretty well for this scrum.
Yeah, might get to see what their backs can do a bit now.
We've got Kobe Owen feeding the scrum. Ball's out.
Big number 8, Genesis Fakiota, taking it from the back of the scrum, looking for the white line.
They're right on the goal line here, the Sydney Juniors.
Oh, knock on.
Country boys.
And the ref's called a knock on.
Outstanding goal line defence, forcing an error.
I think that was set up there, Gary, by that number 15 from City, just attacking space down that sideline.
Yeah, we must attack space. Paddy, where's the space, as I say to my girls?
Yes, boys, and you are the coaches for the under 17 girls, I hear.
Yeah, so we just had a pretty good national campaign. We came second in the country for the second year in a row, so a good effort by the girls. It was their first real crack at playing the 15-person format, so yeah, we're all pretty happy about that.
Good tackle there by number 9.
Off the back of a scrappy scrum. Looks like Country are starting to use their real inside channels, letting their forwards do a lot of the work at the moment, Paddy.
Turnover.
Oh, ruck turnover. Sydney too strong at the ruck again.
This is the Sydney's 15s. It's our new, so we've changed some numbers. So that's what they were, that's what they are now.
Okay. All right. We'll just.
Sydney's on the attack here, through the hands, attacking space again.
And that's number 20.
Beautiful out wide try. Austin Durbridge. You talked about very well represented the Two Blues, Western Sydney Two Blues. What do you think about them, Paddy? How are they going in Shoe Shield at the moment?
Two Blues they've been a breeding ground for, especially in the Sevens circuit. They've that Western Sydney Academy and the Western Sydney Sevens, producing some very good players.
As you can see there on the replay, is a pretty good try there by number 20, Austin Durbridge. And he gets the first try for the day.
Yeah, first one on the board, and pretty tough kick here, so it'd be interesting to see if you can get the points.
So feel free if you've got any family members playing here today, feel free to put some comments on the live stream, and we'll see what we can do to get their name out there.
Just give a pretty big shout out to the caretakers here at Wanderers Ground. It looks sensational out there.
Oh, we turned up yesterday for the training pitch, and geez, it's a credit to them.
Yeah, the Newcastle City Council do a great job here in Newcastle to keep their sports facilities in good tack.
And it shows. Excellent attempt, unfortunately waved away.
So that's 5-0 to Sydney, with just under 24 minutes remaining in the first half. And we have Country kicking off.
Nice deep kickoff there.
Catch by number 9.
So, Gary, as a Gen Blue coach, how important do you think these kind of tournaments are for the future generations of New South Wales players?
Well, it's always about development, Paddy, isn't it? When you sort of start looking at getting into academies, into youth academies, it's a very important step.
Oh, that's a good ball to number 3.
Paul Vakakakala.
He's
great breakthrough, big tight head prop, big bopper coming up through the guts. Outstanding.
Oh, unlucky there. Nothing better than seeing a prop try.
Oh, nothing better.
I myself aren't a prop, but by the looks of Gary and Paddy here, they look like prop players.
Yeah, can eat, mate. Can eat.
Love a meat pie.
Love a meat pie.
Double dinners in camp, mate. That's
Double.
the rule.
Oh,
done well to get that line.
Great Country win. Oh, another turnover. Sydney Juniors turn the ball over at the ruck again.
Here's number 10 for Sydney Juniors, which is Caleb Murphy from the Southern Districts.
Here he goes again, the big bopper, Paul Vakakala.
He's from Manly.
He's impressing me today. Penalty.
Not releasing penalty.
Yeah, going back to the academy stuff, Paddy, we got to, this is always important for kids at this age to be exposed to reward a variety of coaching, and then as they sort of come up through the ranks, then get access to more specialised and pointed coaching, and the New South Wales Waratahs do an outstanding job at the moment of doing a lot of development in terms of their nutritional knowledge, in terms of their fitness knowledge, and really putting a lot of effort into their junior programs of late, which is, I think, what grassroots rugby in Australia needs.
Yeah, 100%. Sydney's on the attack here again, building some good phases together. A little bit high there.
It's number 12, which is Joey Fowler.
And not picked up by the referee, though. Oh, some great ruck work there from the Fergus Gillen from the far north coast. Seems to be everywhere at the moment.
Geez, they're pushing up the field pretty quick here,
Sydney. Through the guts with
Sydney Juniors. They got a good. They go to the left.
Yeah, just too strong.
And he scores.
I think that might have been Joey Flower again, possibly. It just shows the importance, isn't it, of putting those phases again, that continuity. They were able to put 7-8 phases there, and came away with the reward.
And producing the ball to the back of the ruck really quickly. Here we see just a one-out pass, getting the ball wider, and over he goes, easy as you like.
So, Gary, you actually get to work with Scott Delabozak at Gen Blue this year, don't you? You looking forward to that?
Yeah, we were lucky enough to be selected or appointed as one of the under-15s coaches at Gen Blue, with working with New South Wales Waratahs this year. So far, the program's shaping up really, really well. Scott Delabozak, he's a very experienced coach and a bit of a legend around the Hunter region, as far as I'm aware. another great attempt, unfortunately pushed away.
Yeah, that's waved away, and Sydney Juniors take an early lead here, 10 points to 0, with 20 minutes remaining in the first half. Just a shout out to the sponsors for this event. We've got Elders Insurance, Hello World Travel, Total Precast Systems, Signal Sportswear, and Glenore. We also have Estelo Travel, which is a group travel specialist. So without the juniors, we wouldn't have this competition, so thank you for them.
They're making some really easy headway up the middle of the field. Those big, strong Sydney forwards are really putting it to the country boys.
Here's number 13, which is Therese Lecucki. They're about a couple inches from the sideline there.
Oh, great turnover, unfortunately put down by Will Taylor, another local boy.
Can I ask, boys, I'm not familiar with rugby union much, but why does the ref dig his heel in when there's the scrum?
I think he's just putting the mark down, mate, letting us know where we need to pack it.
Right.
So you see the props here that they're not allowed to pre-engage, so they need to get that nice long arm bind.
Right.
So it's a bit of a safety issue and making sure that...
Good step there. Number 22, which is Callan Lepepe Levy, another player from Two Blues.
You can see the Sydney scrum seems to be sort of driving up on the tight head side really early. I don't know if that's something the referees should perhaps watch. Referees do a great job, though. We're really short on referees, unfortunately, Paddy. Especially in country rugby, we really need to get some more of them into the game. Such an important part of the game.
100%, and it's great to see when we're down at nationals. You know that Australian Rugby Union were developing.
They got some space here out on the left,
and again, to take space. Outstanding cover defence. Outstanding cover defence out there by Isaac Barker. Again, another far north coast boy up, hometown boy for me.
It's from your club, isn't he? The Grafton Redmen.
He is. Mighty Grafton Redmen. Had a good win against Lennox Head yesterday.
Was it 24?
24-19, I believe.
24-19, very nice.
So line out here.
Good win.
They just need to get down the other end, the country boys. They've been stuck down here.
They do. They started the first few minutes of the game, sort of not letting Sydney out of their own 22. Unfortunately, quick turnover. Knock on though. Referees called the knock on.
Commentator's curse.
Commentator's curse.
And it just shows the importance of rugby as a game of territory and possession, isn't it? You know, if you're defending your line for minute after minute, a team like Sydney's going to put points on you.
Especially when they're so strong up the middle.
Well, the country team have made some changes. There's 7 players just been interchanged.
A wholesale change.
Wholesale, bulk change.
Yeah, good option. They'll be careful moving the ball like that in their own in-goal, Paddy.
He's got that offside.
A sigh of relief. Sigh of relief for the country boys there.
Well, this is their chance to gain some field position. Beautiful day here, boys, in Newcastle. About 14 degrees, not too cold. No wind going. It's a perfect day for rugby union.
I must say the country boys and girls looking very smart in their ties and scarves. Bit of a country tradition there.
The number 1 strip.
Michelle Edwards all over the number 1s. Also known as the enforcer around camp. Isn't that right, Gary?
You're dead right. I upset Michelle twice yesterday. And I really didn't mean to. But does an outstanding job. It does an absolutely outstanding job. If I could pick any manager to have on part of my staff, it would be Michelle would be number 1.
Yes, so Michelle's the manager for the under-17 girls.
Yep. Also involved in Gen Blue as well.
We've got a scrum here on the 22-metre line. And City win the scrum again.
Oh,
Play
great
advantage
pick-up.
here.
Great pick-up, Ed Montgomery, Central North.
Good opportunity for Country to get out of their half.
And here's number 8, which is Josh Briggs. It's gone backwards, says the referee.
We really need to control that ball at the rock for the Country boys. Paddy.
Great, yeah, just settle it down a little bit, set the platform. Got out of jail again there. Sydney a little bit too eager off that offside line.
Country's going to make an advantage here. They're going to be first time inside.
That's a good nudge.
Good nudge.
Sydney Juniors end.
Country's got some tall timber here. Their line out has been pretty good.
We got
Local
number
boy, Luke
17.
Evans, yep.
Just got in front there, Sydney Juniors. Mitchell Hyslop. They're standing in the air. Oh, they found some space out wide.
Is this place got some
23,
speed on
Calvin.
it?
Another two Blues player there.
Look at him. Must be doing some good coaching down there at the Two Blues.
I must say it's good to see Penrith Emus Juniors still going strong.
Oh, fortunately just a cough up there, Sydney Juniors.
If you are watching and you're in the Newcastle area, feel free to come down. We've got the cooks here cooking some bacon egg rolls, and we're standing right next to it. It's smelling good, boys, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Big breakfast though. I'm a little bit full, otherwise I'll be hooking in.
So, Gary, how good is it as a forward when you pop your head up from a scrum and you see one of the backs knock the ball on?
Oh, well, that just means you get to have another scrum, Paddy. Generally, as a forward, that's it's almost like Christmas.
So, what's the golden rule? Backs are there to facilitate forward set piece. That's
my mantra, mate. Yeah.
That was a good run there by number 12, which is Eddie Montgomery from Central North.
Oh, very strong defence. Tyrese Lakini.
Big shout out to Gary Walsh in the Central North, the DO, doing some good things in a very big area.
I think all the DOs around the development officers from New South Wales Rugby around the country are doing some outstanding work. And all of them have a lot of country to cover, particularly the country DOs. A lot of people to get in front of and a lot of work to do. Big turnover there again by Sydney Juniors. Kobe Owen off the back of the scrum. He's having an outstanding game today.
Good Penrith Emu boy.
They go to the left. They've got no players here out on the right.
No, just too strong up the middle. Just too strong up the middle.
Is as you like.
That's a great try there by the City Juniors. Just trying to see who that was. Yeah, just down the short side and
just too strong around the fringe of the rucks.
Unfortunately, couldn't get a number on that player, but it's a beautiful little pick and go there.
Just identifying space and attacking it, Paddy.
You can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong. So coming into halftime, what do you think Scott's message is going to be to the boys?
I really think he needs to muscle up around his fringe defence around the ruck. That's where they're beaten the whole day, is their inside defence. I think their outside cover defence has been really, really good in the countryside, and they've had plenty of opportunities to practice it, unfortunately. I think their set piece is fairly sound. I don't think they've got a lot to fix in relative terms to the Sydney boys. Maybe just try to keep the scrum down a little bit.
Well, that's the first conversion for the day, boys, and that takes the score to 17 points to nil in favour of the Sydney Juniors. And that try was scored by number 12, which was Joey Fowler.
No one wanted it
favourable
there.
bounce. Favourable bounce.
Country's on the attack.
Stay in.
Yeah,
Unlucky.
taken
Got
out.
on storming lock.
Good effort there by Jack Crease from Illawarra.
Yeah, there's a lucky bounce that just went wrong, unfortunately. Nice quick line out. Sydney come away with it. A little bit scrappy. Great work over the ball. Paddy, Will Taylor from the Hunter, he's having an outstanding day.
Absolute standout for the Country boys there, absolutely.
Yeah, very good defence. Strong
Great
defence.
defence there
Look
by
at that
number
fight.
22, Lachlan Clayton. He's from Gordon. Great defence there. Oh, sorry.
Fergus Gillis from Lennox Head.
That was Don Watkins from Central North. Sorry, that did that good defence.
Yeah,
And Gary, what's
Something
the junior competition like up at Far North Coastway?
it's getting stronger all the time. There's one club in particular that's been doing some great work up there, just a small knock on out there from Calvin Lupelli-Levy out on the fringe. They've been doing some outstanding work in their juniors for a long time. Wallingbar, Olsenville and Ballina, they've been doing some really, really good stuff, and it shows in their seniors product as well. So out the other end of it. But in terms of in junior competition, I know that in the state championships in the under-16s this year, they were coached by Tommy Davidson, another New South Wales development officer. Did some outstanding work. Yeah, Will Lawson. They did some outstanding work with those guys, and that's representative by how many players they got into this countryside this year.
Country on the attack here.
That's number 13.
Bit isolated. Or lucky not to lose that then.
The young Isaac Barker, he's my hometown boy up there in Grafton.
Oh, there's a turnover.
Once again, too strong at the ruck. I really think Scott's probably going to talk to country boys a bit about their ruck security as well, Paddy.
Yeah, just the importance of that line speed, especially against a team with some hard ball runners like Sydney. You just can't afford to sit there on the line and let them run to you.
Just grinding away. Bit of a tick-tock pattern there, Paddy. One way, one the other way.
The old 11s.
Well, they've got some space here on the left. Good tackle there by number 17, which is Luke Evans from the Hunter.
Yeah, good line speed there. And number 7, Fergus Gillen for the country boys. He's just everywhere.
That's a great tackle.
Sydney on the back foot, but got to stick those tackles.
Good tackle there by number 21, Nicholas Leeming. He's from Gordon as well.
Gordon making a comeback in the shoot shield this year under Darren Coleman with his brother
Big
Bubba
Bubba found
coaching
some
Hamilton
space.
Hawks here.
Looks like Country's going to get the scrum here.
Yeah.
Found a small knock on in there somewhere.
Speaking of Michelle Edwards, here she is.
Walking past, gobbing off. No rest for the wicked.
That's correct. Does a lot of work behind the scenes for Country Juniors.
Yeah, she's an outstanding stalwart of the organisation, that's for sure.
We definitely need volunteers. Without volunteers, there's no rugby union, no
Absolutely.
any sport without volunteers.
Absolutely. Especially in some of these places in the bush, they're doing it pretty tough. And at the moment, the Waratahs are on their get talking tour, talking about all sorts of things to do with rugby, drought, mental health, and just making sure that we're looking after the people in our game. So
Another really positive thing from the Waratahs is they're really starting to get into the community more. I think they've identified that as something where they need to connect the professional side of the game with the amateur side of the game, and they're doing making some outstanding headroads into that.
yeah, absolutely. Hopefully, Country need a couple of phases here.
I think we've seen another turnover, Paddy. Sydney
it is a
Juniors with the
turnover.
pill again.
Number 3, which is Paul Bukalaki from Manly. Good turnover there.
They're working that short side really effectively today, Sydney Juniors.
Just playing quite smart, aren't they? They're not wearing themselves out, just sticking to their systems.
It's been very effective. Again, exploiting that weak ruck defence.
That's a great try there by City. That was scored by Jacob John from Penrith.
Western Sydney getting represented really well today.
What do you think about the Shoot Shield Grand Final going up to Bankwest Stadium, Parramatta?
I think it's a good thing. I think that's a purpose-built place just for rugby league. I think it's a fantastic venue, but maybe that's a sign of the times, Paddy. Maybe so. Western Sydney Rugby's on the rise, mate.
I hope so.
And the likes of Sydney Uni and Randwick are on the down and down, despite their minor premiership win this year.
I won't hear a bad word said against Sydney Uni.
It's great to see a bit of heckles there between the two boys here in the commentary box.
Sydney Uni are doing some good things, though. They're playing some really good footy, and you want to talk about sticking to systems, they just do it like no one else in the Shoot Shield, as far as I'm concerned.
Definitely, yeah. They just show how important being that tactician is, and that clinical execution. Doesn't have to be fancy, as long as everyone's on the same page, you can tear teams apart.
But just outside the 22.
It's not quite enough weight.
They are making it quite hard for the kicker today. Most of the meat pies being out wide.
That's number 12, who takes the conversion, which is Joey Fowler from Gordon. But the score is now 22 to City, Country nil, with 3 minutes remaining left in the first half.
See if Country can get some points on the board before we go to the break. They're starting to move off their line really well, the Country team. Make a liar of me.
Here's number 19, which is Kobe Herford, from Penrith.
A small forward pass there, I believe.
Looks like from the Sydney Juniors, majority of them are from Two Blues, Gordon or Penrith.
Yeah, Western Sydney, mate, represent.
Very big junior clubs.
Oh, outstanding scrum there.
Good scrum.
Oh, overran the ball slightly. Quick turnover.
Great
counter attack.
22. Oh, inside ball.
Yeah, knocked down. Very, very good counter attack from Sydney Juniors. Here they are again. Throwing the ball wide, looking for some space. They found it out there wide. Out there, looks like another try in the corner. Sydney Juniors. Number 23, Calvin Lapelli-Levy. He's probably got a couple there, boys, I think.
Mate, I'd say he's scored a couple, correct. It just shows the importance of the basics, Gus, the 2-on-1s, the 3v2s, and just drilling them in at training and how you can transfer them onto the pitch.
So important, that broken play rugby. I mean, I think the All Blacks started it, and they've really come through with it in a really, really strong manner in the last few years, just showing the importance of what they're calling rugby IQ nowadays. So sort of seeing what's in front of you and knowing how to exploit it, and it looks like the Sydney Juniors are really coming to terms with that now.
The try still hasn't made it easier for the goal kicker. Still going.
Still out in the sideline, isn't he?
If you've noticed, they've all been on the same side.
Poor old Joey Fowler will be going back into the sheds and into them.
As you can see, there's a couple of fans over on the grass watching. They've seen all the action.
Yeah,
they've got the best seats in the house.
Fantastic
the first half.
tries,
They certainly
absolutely.
do. So, Josh, who's your pick in the Newcastle comp this year? Do you follow it closely?
No, I don't, but I'm going to go for the home team, the Wanderers here. I'm more of a rugby league supporter, but it's good to see. It's good to see the opportunity to do a bit of different sports. So rugby union's similar to rugby league, so it's good to see.
I think you're seeing more athletes cross over at the higher levels now, aren't you? They're tending to go back and forth, especially now that rugby sevens has become such a Olympic sport and a bit of a powerhouse.
That's correct, yeah.
It's not as black and white as it used to be.
Gone into the break here, Sydney Juniors 27, Country 0.
We'll take a short break and we'll be back shortly. Coach will be saying.
Scott keeps a pretty cool head, for those that know him, but I think he gives a lot of constructive feedback. So, as we identified before, it's going to be around that ruck and that ruck defence and just getting that pillar post set and coming off line speed.
And conversely, I think the Sydney Juniors coach, he'd be pretty happy with their performance so far. I reckon he'd be saying to maintain that strong up the middle, those strong up the middle carries by their big boppers, throw it to some space on the outside. They're finding the fringe every time.
I think one thing Country do is that they do breed a lot of pride in that jersey. So I think these boys will. They're not going to lay down. They'll be fighting for the next 30, and that carries all the way through the seniors. And you notice that when you play against New South Wales Country.
Number 3's gone back out there without his headgear.
Danger.
Ooh. Maybe the aerodynamics was thrown off. And
I think he's passed it on to number 1, which is Junior Latu. Refs gets us underway here in the...
Oh, not 10.
Hasn't gone 10.
Not 10. Picked it up. So we'll go back to the centre of the field there with the choice from Country. They've opted for the scrum.
Taking the scrum. It's always good to see your forwards backing themselves.
Yeah, I do like that.
Taking the scrum.
I do like that. Number 17 for New South Wales Country, young Luke Evans. Luke Evans was a late addition to the side, brought in very recently due to some injuries.
Local boy,
Hunter boy.
Hunter, of course, being
strong
quite a
scrum.
big breeding ground for New South Wales Country.
Yeah, great running line there. Young Lockie. Correction, Isaac Barker.
Must be something in that Grafton water, Gus, I think.
Some outstanding line runners from there, Paddy, I've heard.
Not a bad chicken shop in Grafton, charcoal chicken.
Charcoal chicken, Grafton. Big supporter of my prop diet.
country players here are wanting the ball spread. Here's Josh Briggs.
Barnstorming run by big Josh Briggs.
You can just see Country. We're just getting the ball too far behind the gain line. Just need to play a little bit flatter and harder.
He's number 12, which is Eddie Montgomery from
very
Central
strong
North.
at the ruck. I think could be accused of diving over the ruck there, Paddy.
Has good dart.
Yeah, very good identification of space by the young scrum half.
Seth Teo.
Seth Teo from Illawarra.
Country New South Wales knock on, found by the referee.
And if you're in the local area watching this on YouTube, it is a free entry into this competition today, so feel free to come down and enjoy the sunshine and watch some good rugby union. Just a reminder, we've got the under 15 girls coming up, boys, after this game.
Very exciting clash.
Short under. Wheeling.
Yeah, well done. I think that was what we were starting to look at earlier on.
Here's number 10 for the country team, which is Heath Pritchard from Illawarra.
Yeah, Sydney is so strong. They're so strong at the ruck.
Straight up off the line. There's Will Taylor again, the local Hunter boy, having an absolute...
Mark Bernays is obviously
game.
an excellent job coaching the Sydney
Here's Josh
juniors.
Briggs. That's a good,
Found a small knock on there.
good run there by Josh Briggs. Just his teammates let him down with the knock on there.
Will Cuddle, just a small knock on out here on the wing.
I think both teams struggling with the pill a little bit, aren't they?
Yeah, but I think they're trying to force a little bit too much, putting themselves under a lot of pressure, particularly with those longer and the wider passes. A strong scrum from Sydney. Yeah, knocked down again.
Another one.
Country juniors.
You don't get too much leeway with that these days, do you? Until the cheese comes out.
Certainly don't.
They've spread the ball here to the right. That's a good run.
It's a good 20-metre gain, just by using fast hands, throwing it wide. Again, Another shout out to Mark Benet. He's doing an excellent job the way he's coached these Sydney juniors.
Here's number 1, which is Junior Latu from the Two Blues. Good run.
Yeah, their front row's certainly working really hard out there today with Sydney. Great ball.
It's good hands.
Just a trip over there by number 11, which is Liam Gala.
Strong on the rock. The Two Blues boys really representing Sydney well.
You just see Sydney getting their pods, their structure set up well. Oh, unlucky there.
Yeah, a little bit of dirt off the ball there. Number 18, William Goddard from Eastwood. Paddy.
Don't get me started, mate. It's going to be a cracking Shoot Shield final series, that's for sure. Eastwood in the mix.
Good 20-metre gain there.
So we've got number 17 to do the line out, which is Luke Evans from the Hunter.
The late ringing, and
We'll win against the throw.
Country's lost the line out. Sydney on the attack.
Good space here.
Uh,
Good tackle there.
Simple hands and attacking space, just so effective.
Well, they're doing the simple things just so well, Paddy. Securing their ruck, getting a nice long place, giving good ball at the back of their rucks, making it nice and clean. Forwards are doing some excellent work.
Country lucky not to be getting pinned offside a lot of time, I think.
They just look. They don't look determined in defence, Paddy.
Good offload there. Here's number 1, which is Junior Latu. Good run there by the big prop.
Will Taylor's having an absolute field day at that breakdown. I think he may be one of those flankers that just have to play second row, but he definitely plays like a back rower.
Doing some very, very good things.
They go to the right.
I'll be looking for a little bit more intensity out of the country boys if I was Scott Delabozak at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Through the middle, nothing wrong with that.
Good play here.
Again, playing their systems, Paddy. Playing their systems.
You do notice the patience of the Sydney team. You know, they're just happy to grind out a couple of phases and wait for it to open
They
up.
go to the right. Here's number 22 for Lachlan Clayton from Gordon. Number 13, which is Therese Latuki.
Yeah, he's having an outstanding game in the midfield.
Prop try could be on here.
Oh, that's a good run. And that's a try.
That's
by
what the
number-
people want to
Stunner.
see.
That's what they call a stunner.
That's what you love, boys.
Yeah, you
Yes.
got it. That's what they call a stunner.
That's another try by Sydney Juniors here by number 3, Paul Valaki from Manly. And he didn't have the headgear on, and he scores a try.
I'll tell you, it could be the aerodynamics. And I know at my club, prop tries go down in the book as 2.
That's a 10-pointer.
They're consolidating their lead here, the Sydney Juniors. It takes the score now to 32 points to nil, with a kick to come.
So New South Wales Country have produced some absolutely sensational props. Paddy Ryan, Harry Johnson-Holmes, a local boy from here, of course. Why do you think the Country are so dominant in that area for such a relatively small playing group?
Honestly, mate, I just think it's got a lot to do with Grandma's Sunday dinners. As we all know, we like to eat hearty up in the bush, and Grandma's, they tend to like to feed us plenty. So, no, I don't know, mate. I think a lot of it's got to do with a sort of grit and determination that's been shown all across New South Wales, in the country in particular at the moment, with so much drought. I was only seeing this morning that you know, some communities are looking at putting in desalination plants now to try and get artesian water up and drinkable. You know, they're trying to thinking about trucking water in, which would be an enormous logistical undertaking just to be able to have some drinking water. And you know, that toughness and that resilience that you look for in not just a rugby player, but most certainly in the front row and in the tight five in rugby. You know, it's sort of embodied in the country spirit, I suppose, and what we're seeing all across the country at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I think that resilience is such a big thing, and I know that we promote in New South Wales country program, so 100%.
It's a good run there by Harry Darling from the Norths.
Norths Rugby Club. We got a couple of hometown boys playing at Norths at the moment too.
Down in the Shoot Shield.
Down in Shoot Shield. A lot of good things coming out of New South Wales country.
Well, that was a turnover.
Adam Ashley Cooper actually got Country Player of the Year back in 2001.
2001, mate. That's my vintage, correct? Yep. And Swoop still playing?
Still playing at Wallabies level. Or in the squad at least.
I think it's important to have a few of those old heads around, isn't it? You know, really just that experience, you can't buy that.
You can't buy experience, no. When the chips are down, we talked about resilience just now. When the chips are down, that resilience is what counts.
That was a great offload.
Yeah. Jinx. Scrappy ball, though, turn over to Country.
Number 21's been good for Country. Nicholas Lehman from, Seth To'o from Illawarra.
He has been very, very good off the back of the scrum. Both ends of the ball have been excellent off the scrum.
Hasn't
Our
found
little
touch
scrum
here.
halves.
Could have some counter attack.
I've chosen just to run it back in, settle it, Paddy. Oh, great
Almost
defence.
a rib tickler there.
Number 13, which is Therese Lecucki from Two Blues.
They've done well to hang on to the ball there, Sydney.
They go to the right here to number 5, which is
Josh
Jacob,
Briggs was hard over that ball then.
Jacob John.
And again, good steal.
It's a turnover.
And it's time for Country to really work hard.
Catching the crowd. Nope.
Not a huge metre gain there, but perhaps gave them a little bit of time to settle themselves down and see what's next.
We talk a lot about systems, and when it comes time to the line out, under fatigue, how important are those systems?
Oh, you need them. You need a base level skill, a base level set of rules that they can fall back on to calm themselves down. So he's got him nervous in the midfield there. Young Ed Montgomery.
Central North boy looking for the rib ticklers.
Oh, he's just short of the line.
Good line defence. Good line defence. Just need to come up off that line, catch him in their back.
And that's a try there by
made
number
it through again.
22, which is Lachlan Clayton from Gordon.
Another Gordon boy.
Gordon, the Stags.
Almost won the club championship in Shoot Shield this year. They just fell, I think it was only 150 points short, which is phenomenal turnaround from last year.
And shows the depth in the club coming through.
Very big Colts program. They're going head to head with Randwick for the last few years. Just shows the importance of junior rugby trickling back into seniors.
Very much so. Very much so. Well, like I said, there's been a stark turnaround recently in the rugby community where they really identified that grassroots rugby is so important to the entire sport, particularly when you get up into the professional realm.
Yeah, so boys, that takes it the score now to 39 points to nil with the conversion.
Outstanding conversion attempt.
And he's kicked it.
He's had a difficult task today, the young Sydney kicker.
So that's now Sydney Juniors, a 41, Country nil. Good kick off there.
Yeah, and some good defence to back that kick off up.
They look like they spread the ball early. Good offload.
Great offload.
Well, that intensity I was asking for, before, Paddy, from the country boys has certainly lifted. Looks like they're moving off the line a little bit more, putting a little bit more pressure on the Sydney backs, and they're coming up with some results.
Definitely, yeah. They seem to be disturbing that Sydney shape a little bit. They're looking to push that pass, and where before in the first half they were just playing quite clinically. So just need to try and turn that into some points for the country boys.
Good to see here on the video here, the scrum.
Yeah, we like a good close-up of a scrum.
Good camera work by our Bar TV Sports crew here.
Outstanding.
It's exceptional quality.
Outstanding camera work. They're not even acknowledging us. Well, there we go. There we go.
They'll get to do a take two because we've got to do the scrum again.
The more you get to look at them, the better, mate.
Yeah. Unfortunately, sometimes you just have one of those days and you have a couple of resets in a row. They are trying to crack down on that, though, the referees.
And rightly so, I think. Yeah, we got those Sydney getting their hands on the ball.
There's a good run there by number 13, which is Isaac Barker from Far North Coast. He's travelled a fair way to get here.
Yeah, they're strong on the ball, Sydney. That was an outstanding steal by the big bopper.
Just pushing that pass a little bit too hard there.
Get to reset another scrum, though. Paddy.
Yes. So, any current Wallabies coming up from Far North Coast way? Isaac Roddo, is he?
Isaac Roddo's from the Far North Coast. That man, he's a giant human. Oh, Isaac Roddo. I don't know if you've ever come across him, but I don't consider myself a small man, but standing next to him, I'm a little guy. So, and a very, very good human as well. Likes to put a lot back into his community when he can get there, and playing some really, really good footy at the most elite level.
Good scrum there by Country. And here's number 15 from the wing, which is Ryan Weatherden from Central North. Turnover to the City. Oh, good.
Oh, I read that well, didn't he, Gary?
Yeah, great.
Identify the
Great
space.
identification of space. Good way of fixing the defence as well. Nice straight line, opened them up. Just getting a bit ahead of the pass there. Forcing an error again, Country with their line speed and a little bit of pressure on that back line.
And as you like it, boys, another scrum.
Yeah.
That's what we came to see. But you can even see 41 points up, Sydney still getting a bit of white line fever. So.
Yeah. Thinking they can score off every play, perhaps.
Yeah, the Country's got to knuckle down and get their defence line in order.
Yeah, great contest. Great scrum contest. Good dart. A little bit of a harsh call from the referee there.
No.
Looked a bit knock back, didn't it?
I thought that's what I would have gone that way. However, I'm not out there.
And the referee can't see the replay, so
There
he's
you
got to
go.
make a call.
Correct.
So he's doing good.
Like I said, they do an exceptional job, the referees, and a lot of times it's a thankless job, but they're such an imperative part of our sport, and well, frankly, we just need more of them.
I know at Country Champs this year for seniors, Kath Little was doing from Central North there. She was doing a really good job in developing some junior refs in the bush.
Spread it out. They've gone to the other side of the field. Who's that's a
good cover defence.
Good tackle there by number 15, which is Ryan Weatherin from Central North, the Country team.
With the new tackle height laws, though, you've always got to be careful with those jersey pulls, don't you? Yeah.
Certainly do.
Can be a very cheap penalty. Sydney making a few changes.
Oh, good line-out pilfer.
We've got Kobe Owen from Penrith back on at scrum half for the Sydney team.
Oh, that's a good take.
What I'm loving about the Sydney team at the moment is they're just not afraid to throw the ball around. They're not afraid to get it wide. They're not afraid to throw those longer passes, and it's really paying off for them out wide.
I think especially in this age group, you see when they're playing a lot of 7s, they're playing 10s, they're playing 15s. They come into their senior grade just highly skilled, don't they?
They certainly do. They certainly do. As coaching develops throughout the sport as well.
Oh, that's a good pass.
Excellent broken play try. The big man, Nathaniel Tilley from Penrith, another Western Sydney boy. Outstanding support play. Led him straight into the arms of a beautiful little pop pass on the outside. Just gets him straight on through. Easy as you like. Cruise on over. Another stunner. Prop try. Very good.
Another meat pie, and that takes Sydney to 46, Country 0, with 10 minutes left to play, boys. What do you think the country coach will be saying, or while they're down waiting for this conversion? What do you think they'll be talking about?
I think just having a little bit of pride in the jersey, and and trying to do those little things in your own game. You take this last 10 minutes to try and fix those little 1%ers in your own game, and as we said before, the country boys are quite resilient, and they'll bounce back and they'll be better for the hit out.
And that's converted, which takes it now to...
He's having a really good day with the boot. He's had a tough ask.
Boy from Gordon.
Young Joey Fowler, but he's really sort of stepping up the task, and he's having a really, really good day with the boot.
I think at half-time he told the boys if they're going to score them closer so I can kick some goals.
Yeah, he's brought him back in. Stop throwing it wide. He's sort of playing in the 12 position. He's got power over that a little bit. He can stop it.
Just a bit of a shout out to our physios this year. We got Charles Sturt University looked after us with some students, led up by Mick down there. He's doing an exceptional job across the ages.
Great steal, Ryan Weatherden, Central North. He's having a great game. Another forced error. It's unfair to say that Country have been unlucky because Sydney are playing an exceptional game of rugby here today, but I think Country have been unlucky in a couple of areas. Just the ball just bouncing out of some hands, or just hitting the ground a little bit rough.
They got the ball here for the scrum. Let's see if they can make the most of this attack.
Little KFC kick for corner.
In the backfield, it's actually good position gain. What are your thoughts, Paddy, on the position over possession mantra?
I think we see it a lot in the top.
Great intercept! Joshua Briggs pilfered it, picked it out of the air, straight down for a 5-pointer, the first 5-pointer for Country today. Outstanding foresight.
I don't know if you could hear that at home, but the crowd went absolutely wild here.
Watch this, just a big old dart looking for a two-man cutout and caught the Country player coming through for the intercept. Outstanding from Joshua Briggs.
Nothing worse than having a big back row on the hunt, is there?
And when I looked at the team sheets, boys, when we first came here this morning, I'm like, Josh Briggs, he's going to score a try, and it happened for him.
Oh, there you go.
He's got the same name as me, so I was going for him.
Yeah, well,
can't argue
he's
with
come
that
through
logic.
with you. He's come through for you.
He was paying about $7.
All right. I hope
Put a pineapple on it.
And here we got number 15, which is Ryan Weatheren from Central North.
And slots it straight through.
Slots it with ease.
Well done, Ryan.
So that takes now the score, Sydney 48, Country 7, with 6 minutes remaining here in the under-14 boys. Coming up next, we've got the under-15 girls. And just shine a light on the under-15 girls side, boys.
Yeah, it's the first year that they've... last year it was more of a merit squad, and Country kind of identified that it was an area that we need to develop a little bit more. So this year they've really invested some resource and time into it and turned it into a full program. Coached by Tony Mills. So Tony and I coached together at New South Wales Country Corellas. So I get to coach a fair bit with Tony. And Jeremy Maslin, another Central North champion from the Tamworth Pirates Rugby Club. His daughter, actually, Erica, plays in our under-17s team. And we had a bit of a scrimmage against these under-15 girls yesterday, and they were looking the goods, weren't they, Gary?
Yeah, they certainly were. again, some good coaching from them, and the skill level of girls rugby at junior level at the moment, it's just getting better and better every time you look at it. I mean, it's the fastest growth sport in the world at the moment. Girls and women's rugby.
Tackle.
Great defence.
Yeah, definitely. As we're lucky enough to coach up the age group, so these under 15s girls, it's essential. It's good to see that they're coming through at such a high level. So, feeding back into under 17s and then into Corellas and hopefully then into Waratahs and Super W. So
let's hope so. And the earlier we capture these athletes in our programs and sort of start to develop them from an earlier age, the higher and higher the level or the standard is going to be, and we're already starting to see an exceptional standard at junior level, which is again translating over into our senior footy and our elite program. So it's an exciting space, girls rugby, and the under 15s at the moment is where it all starts for.
At under 17s nationals this year, your country's on the attack here. It was only 2 New South Wales teams in the champs, and they both made the final against each other. So that just shows that the Waratahs and New South Wales Rugby are doing good things in that area.
Well, it looks like our country here, with about less than 5 minutes remaining, they've got it's a turnover.
They've got that little try down there is really giving them some confidence. They're starting to move off their line. They're starting to look for the ball. They're starting to get that intensity. A knock on there from Sydney. It's going to give country a little bit more pill in the right end of the field.
The Sydney Juniors just made an interchange. Liam Grauer went off, and he definitely deserves the refs. He's been an outstanding performer in this game.
Yeah, definitely. As a forward, I don't know about you, Gus, but I was worrying they bring on a fresh 9.
Yeah.
Little darts and crisp ball. And
you got to worry about the 9s as across the board, don't you? The chihuahuas of the rugby field.
They can really undo a team, though, can't they?
They certainly can. They provide so much direction to the forwards too.
Geez, that's a good run by number 13, which is Isaac Barker from Far North Coast.
Yeah,
he's earning his team a penalty.
Young Isaac, he's had a really, really good juniors development. Gervais Burtis, who's done for as long as he used to coach me at high school, and the amount of time and effort Gervais has put into schools and junior rugby over the last sort of 25 or 30 years. Another penalty there to country.
Be lucky not to get the card there, I think.
Yeah,
Intentional dive through the ruck.
Sydney's really starting to panic a little bit on their own line.
Let's see if country can make the most of this possession.
You've got to watch those no-arm tackles too.
He's number 3, which is James Filamenti from Illawarra. It's a turnover.
And look at the Sydney numbers at pace.
They're so effective in their counter-attack, Sydney.
Has a good run by Sione Hoppy from 2 Blues.
Oh, again, strong ruck work. Strong ruck work from both sides. That was a good wrestle.
Good read there.
A referee playing advantage for offside.
Kobe Owen from Penrith just looks dangerous with ball in hand, doesn't he?
He certainly does.
He's number 7, which is Mitchell Hopsell. Puts a kick in. Unfortunately, Josh Briggs doesn't get out.
Make it back out for the 22.
I guess a credit to the Sydney defence there. They were really pushing up. They just want that pill, don't they?
They certainly do. The intensity is certainly there for the country, correction, for the city mob.
Geez, it's a pretty good turnout, boys, here for the competition.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
We've got the girls walking behind us for the next game.
It's a fantastic crowd. As you can imagine, we're in the country, so we're a bit country dominated, I think, in the crowd, but outstanding turnout and really looking forward to a really good day of footy. Just another error there from Sydney.
30 seconds to go. I think they're looking for one more meat pie, aren't they?
It looks like they want to seal this one out with more than 50 by the looks of it.
Get the half ton.
Raise the bat.
Raise the bat.
Raise the bat.
What do you do for the half ton? Is it just to raise the bat? You can't. Do you take the helmet off, or it's just a cheeky acknowledge the crowd?
I don't think you should make too much of a deal of it. I think your ton, that's where you got to. That's where you really celebrate, isn't it?
Fist pump, get the helmet off.
Yeah, that's right. Kiss your missus.
Yeah. Much of a cricket player, Gus?
No, mate, rubbish.
No.
Yeah.
No, me neither. I love the sport, but I'm no good.
I played third grade the other year for Warhope and top scored with 7.
Yeah.
Safe to say I'm pretty handy.
Here we go, country trying to move it wide for probably one of the first times in the game.
Great offload there.
Well, the time has stopped, but we're still playing on because we're still in possession. Can country go the length?
That's a turnover here. City on the prowl again.
I think that'll pull us up, boys. That'll pull us up.
That should do it.
A good showing here.
Well, that's a great win there, first of all, by the Sydney Juniors. Sydney 48, country 7. Great outstanding game by Sydney Juniors. Who was your player of the match, boys, for that game?
Oh, look, I can't really go past the Tyrese Lakini from Sydney Juniors. He was outstanding in the midfield, did a lot of really, really positive things out there, lots of good chat, had a few good runs, and for me, his opposite number over in the midfield for New South Wales Country, Isaac Buck from the far north coast. I'm probably a little bit biased, but I think he had an outstanding game.
Well, I think Kobe Owen from Penrith was just electric with ball in hand, and I couldn't go past Will Taylor from Hunter. I thought he was a standout, especially in a Sydney forward pack that was rolling forward.
Well, thanks, boys. Thanks for your thoughts and commentary in this game. We've now just take a short break. Once again, Sydney 48.